That's not a comic book. Now that's a comic book.
Hey, welcome to another episode of Trade Talk. This week we are discussing Black Panther Power. This is the final volume of Black Panther that I have. This will conclude the epic review of Reginald Hudlin's Black Panther run. If you'll notice, Reginald Hudlin's name is not on the cover of this because Hudlin only helped to write one issue of this. And you can tell. Hudlin's run, its biggest problem was that it kept getting pulled away from things happening in Wakanda or things that were directly about Black Panther, the royal family, Wakanda, stuff like that. It kept getting pulled away to go do other stuff. And you could say that that might be Hudlin's fault. He's not like a comics writer. He's, a TV writer. And so maybe he just didn't quite know what to do all the time, didn't quite know how to end things. And so when he'd want to go have fun and tell a story over here, he didn't realize that he was wasting time that could have been spent developing his story with Wakanda and its characters into something more before he would get pulled away to go do something interacting with, a wider run in the Marvel universe. You'd certainly make that argument. I wouldn't really hold it against it. I think that's the biggest problem with Hudlin's run. This is a pretty self-contained Wakandan story. Like everything's about what's happening in Wakanda. Everything's about Shuri as the Black Panther. Everything is about T'Challa dealing with his attack, even though they're not in Wakanda 100% of the time. Shuri's off in the States, but that's a factor of the story. But I don't like the voice that what's his name? Maberry? Jonathan Maberry, Maberry, has for T'Challa, has for Wakanda, or has for Shuri for that matter. I'm troubled by it. In this issue, you have all this pressure and outrage being expressed at the royal family for situations going on in Wakanda. You have T'Challa running around in the shadows, training with the Panther's bodyguards to make them into an army to fight Doombots, and you have Doctor Doom undermining the infrastructure of Wakanda, and at the end pulling off an invasion and a coup. And I don't like that approach. I don't like that voice. I don't like that notion at all. This is not something I enjoyed particularly. Like, it's that weird thing wherein how do you create drama if you are dealing how do you create political drama if you're dealing with a country that is supposed to be beyond those things? And Hudlin had his fair share of political intrigue and drama within the royal family. Like, you had T'Challa's uncle, who had served as the Black Panther until T'Challa took over, and he was lecturing T'Challa and saying, "You're making these mistakes here, here, here. You're doing this wrong." And T'Challa cut him off. It's like, maybe our connection as family is making you too comfortable in your role of an advisor and is making you forget who you are talking to. And like, that's a really great, intense, holy shit kind of scene. T'Challa just used status to shut down someone disagreeing with him. like that's an implication, that's a scene with a lot of implication, with a lot of like, oh my god behind it. But it still, it didn't like undermine the values of the state. It didn't undermine the importance of the role and the symbolic meaning of the state of Wakanda. You know, the unconquered African nation that is more culturally and technologically advanced than every other nation in the world. It doesn't undermine that by having, you know, basic human internal struggles. It's like the Star Trek thing, right? Like, okay, the Federation is a utopia, but how do you create drama between the characters on your show? Like, is all your drama from your series is the correct plural. So all the drama from your series going to come specifically from the outside in? Doesn't that get kind of dull? And doesn't that create a vacuum? Yes, so what do you do? How do you develop characters interactions if they're all just best friends from the moment they meet because they're all part of this mythical perfect society? You know, Wakanda doesn't put that restriction on its characters. It is a utopia. It is a great society. But there's still very clearly, you know, people, they still have disagreements from within. They just are able to put that shit to the side and, you know, because of a strong national identity, are able to rise above it. Um, and so in this, to have Wakanda be undermined by invasion, that's that's troubling. And like, I'm not gonna say you can never have Wakanda be conquered for a story. But I feel like if you're gonna, you really have to sell that this is it. This is the story. And having Doctor Doom do it certainly would seem to indicate that. But I don't know, a lot has to happen in this that I feel undermines the Wakandan people and their identity and their values as we've been told about them, that I'm just not super comfortable with. And that bothers me. Wakanda in this, let me read some excerpts from the book. See if I can find some of the pages here, or panels that show it. But like, there are people protesting the fact that Shuri isn't in the country, and the fact that Storm is a queen. So we see this panel in the background of a Wakandan newscast. No king, no country. Wakanda for Wakandans. You have people outraged at the existence of a queen, at the existence of foreigners within the government. You have television pundits having arguments about stuff. I'm like, okay, disagreement's one thing, sure, but then it starts to escalate, and the implication here is that someone has manipulated the Wakandan people and their outrage to revolution because they do not like, you know, Storm. They do not like Shuri. They feel that T'Challa has abandoned the people since he stopped being Black Panther. There's all these indications about an extreme outrage and extreme displeasure with the system of government, and then it culminates in a coup d'etat. That's, you know, that's a big deal. That's not something you just brush under the rug. You had the people revolt, manipulated or not. You had the people revolt, and that doesn't feel like something that you had the People Revolt as a manipulated cover for an invasion of Wakanda by Doctor Doom. If you're gonna have Wakanda be invaded, Wakanda be conquered, it shouldn't be from within. Like, that's the real problem, is like it's supposed to be a national identity, and the argument here, I guess, would be, well, it's their national identity that they're trying to protect. It's this national sense of, no, the royal family is ignoring the traditions and yada yada yada, and we need to be more isolationist, blah blah blah. Fair. It is that national identity, a desire to cling to it too much, that is driving these feelings to manipulate the people this way. But the whole point of the national identity is not to do shit like this. And then, very importantly, there's a built-in system of revolt. Like, there's a built-in system for violent upheaval of the state in Wakandan law, in this continuity, in a book coming right off Reginald Hudlin's run, which introduced that system of revolt. Anyone can be the Black Panther, but you have to earn it. Even if you're a member of the royal family, you have to earn being the Black Panther. Like, these are people with a common heritage, a common religion in worship of the Panther god. They believe, and I mean they're correct as far as the book's concerned, the Black Panther is the avatar of the Panther god on Earth. The Black Panther acts with the approval, the sanction of the Panther god. So acting out against him is sacrilege, or acting out against her is sacrilege. So, like, it's weird. These kind of actions, everyone say hi to Haley. These kind of actions in the back, like, contradict the national identity. They're like implying that they're trying to protect. There's an issue there that is inconsistent. That is a break. And so, yeah, that's why I don't like this book, is all the political intrigue feels cheap. It feels like it's not in line with the Wakandan identity, which is the thing I like the most about Hudlin's run. So yeah, it's not quite the voice I prefer for this. Shuri gets to do a lot of badass shit as the Black Panther, though. Like, she is a one-woman arsenal here. Her Black Panther suit is very, very high-tech. She's got wings kind of like Wasp. She's got all these incendiaries and stuff. She's a extremely tech-heavy Black Panther. And that's cool. That's neat. I'm enjoying that. She has a suit, like a really awesome suit at one point, that she uses to fight Namor in. That's really cool. I like that. That's a cool look. I usually do not like Black Panther with a cape. I tend to resist that quite a bit, but Shuri's Black Panther costume has a cape that I really, really like, because they give her the this piece of fur on top of the cape, and it's frickin' sweet looking. I love that hint of fur, the purple of the cape. That looks really cool. That is the only Black Panther design I've liked where I've seen a cape in the action of the panels. Like, and she gets to do a lot of badass shit. She is stealthy. She's got a lot of cool fights. You know, she fights Namor for an issue. She fights this lady with a like electrified whip that's pretty neat. You know, I'm enjoying the hell out of that. You definitely feel that she is just as physically capable of being the Black Panther as T'Challa, which is really cool to see. I'm just disappointed by the background story that I'm having a hard time enjoying that stuff. The art in this is really right up my alley, though. Like, I love the different shading, the coloring, the designs of these characters. It's not photorealistic, but it is a very grounded art style that I really, really like looking at. There's just a lot of detail, a lot of great work put into the characters in here, and I think it looks really, really cool. Man, oh man. Too much fun. Like there's a lot of brutality in this. That's a great looking panel there. And while she is like just as physically capable of being Black Panther, she's still really new at it. So she's there's a learning curve for her, but I'm enjoying it. I'm enjoying reading it nonetheless. The way T'Challa is written in this is weird, and it all kind of comes to a revelation at the end. I really don't care for more really cool poses of her. I also like that she's not like overly sexualized. Like they you know show her curves and all that stuff, but it's a skin tight outfit. You're going to see that it's a skin tight outfit on T'Challa too. You see the outlines of his muscles and everything. So it's like it's a nice way to demonstrate it without or to design the character to display the character without over sexualizing her. And I really like that about it. But T'Challa has some weird fucking like thought processes and lines here. He's trying to get the his bodyguards and everything. He's trained them as an army to fight Doctor Doom, and so he's training them with magic as well to deal with magic and Doombots and all that stuff. And he's training himself with magic, and that's okay. I don't really know what to make of that, but whatever, I guess. So here's the speech that T'Challa gives. We've come a long way, adorned ones. We've suffered losses, but we are stronger in the places where we were broken. Our enemies are many, and they are terrible. We need to be even more terrible. We're about to go to war with the most dangerous force on the planet. We face science and magic. We face armies of flesh and of steel. We face a mind that is vast and dark and subtle. If we falter even for a second, then we fall, and Wakanda falls. In the history of Wakanda and the history of the world, there has never been anything like you, like us. We are a new order of warrior. We are secret. We are unknown. Even with his great magics, our enemy does not know of us. We have cloaked spells. We have our own sorcery, Wakandan sorcery. We have weapons, Wakandan weapons. And we have our hearts, Wakandan hearts, warriors' hearts. And then, like his general says, today some of you may die. You will face robots of automated killing machine. You will face robots and automated killing machines. You will face the darkest sorcery. We will try our level best to kill each and every one of you. Those who survive will earn the right to stand with our beloved when he storms the gates of hell. Those who fall will be forgotten. We are the Dora Milaje, and we do not remember the weak. We cannot pause for tears or regrets. Not now, not ever, until this war is won. I don't like that mentality. I like the notion that T'Challa would create an army specifically designed to fight Doctor Doom. I like that he is smart enough to plan and create that behind the scenes, and no one knows what the hell he's doing. That makes a lot of sense. We do not remember the weak. If you die, you are weak and you will not be remembered. No. No, no, no. And like admittedly I remembered it a bit wrong. I thought it was T'Challa that said that. It was his general, but she's acting on his instructions. That's not the mentality I like at all. And admittedly, there's like a scene later that kind of contradicts that. But just the notion that he would use that kind of rhetoric to motivate his people to fight for him, it disgusts me on a certain level. Um, that is really, really hard to read. Where's the scene at? I'm gonna find the scene where she comes back. I skipped it. God damn it. Of course I skipped it. Don't you love it when you're watching a review and your reviewer starts skipping around the book looking for something to read? Professionally, he would have this written down. No, it's not on that page. Gonna keep on looking. Keep on looking through the book. I don't know where it could be. Can't find it. There we go. So there's this conversation later that would seem to contradict this notion that T'Challa doesn't care about their deaths. 28 still stand. Only 2 have fallen. Even I'm impressed. I thought we'd slaughter at least half of them. We'll say that they died in an industrial accident. Make sure that their families receive full compensation. Add their names to the scroll of the fallen. But, beloved, you said that we would forget any who fell. We will always honor our dead. We are warriors, Nika, not savages. So, like, yeah, it seems to contradict the notion that he doesn't care if they fall in battle or anything. Like, he was just using that kind of rhetoric to motivate them to fight their hardest. I still don't like that. That is so not T'Challa. Like, desperate times, desperate measures, sure, fine, whatever. Wakanda's about fighting a better way. That's right out. So yeah, I did not like this, and it all leads to the end where Doom has taken over Wakanda, and T'Challa and Shuri are both out of the country when it happens. The indication being, I'll just read the thing. T'Challa and Shuri are on the phone. We've taken the most terrible risks imaginable. We've put everything we love, all that we hold dear, into the lion's mouth. But now at last the cockroaches are in the light. Your plan worked. Our plan, big brother. Doom thinks that he has us on the run. But this war is just beginning. He and his allies have played their cards, T'Challa. Now it's our turn to show them ours. Now we stop running and fight. So the indication was they saw this invasion coming, and instead of trying to stop it from happening, since they didn't know exactly how it would happen, they let it and had a plan to fight it back. So the invasion didn't really occur, and this is pretty typical of T'Challa's plans from what we've seen. You look back to the Secret Invasion, which I did an episode on, and the whole plan there was to make the Skrulls think that they caught T'Challa and Storm, but really to subvert that and use it as a chance to sneak in and kill the command and all that stuff, and completely slaughter the Skrulls. Cool, fine. It seems like this is kind of the thing. There's just a lot that this cost along the way that I don't really feel comfortable with. And particularly, it's not that he let the enemy think that they were winning. It's that he let the people be manipulated into abandoning what Wakanda is. And to do that, again, you had to break the Wakandan people as a character from what they would do. So I really am bothered by this. I don't think this worked very well. And it's all apparently concluded in Doom War, which I don't have. I don't know. I am tempted to read Doom War. It could be good. I just don't know if it's something I want to read. Given the way that this left me. This left a bad taste in my mouth. So that's where I'm at on this one. Leave in the comments whether you guys like live comments or comments after the fact. If you want me to review Doom More, if anyone's really curious about my thoughts on Doom More, I'll pick it up. But as of right now, I'm really on the fence as to whether or not I even want to pick that up. So that'll do it for my review of Black Panther Power. Everyone, thanks very much for watching Trade Talk this week. Be back next week. Till next time, see you then.
That's not a comic book. Now that's a comic book.